Hey guys, this is Brian Davis again, and on my way to work to the office, and just pulled over to go through 10 ways to find off-market deals. And we focus a lot on the MLS, finding properties on the market, but these are going to be some creative ways that are pretty typical, pretty standard. There's a lot of different ways that you can find properties, and I'll just go through the 10 that came to mind and maybe refresh for some people, just to give them an idea if somebody's looking for some new strategy to get started on today. So number one, probate. I really like probate properties. These are homes that were inherited by somebody, or somebody died, the property went to the probate courts, and then the probate courts need to determine where that property is going to go and who's going to get it. Typically, you can get this information from the courthouse, or you can buy lists of people that go to the courthouse to determine who to mail, what the property is, that sort of thing. You could also go online and you could look up certain types of land records that were filed on a property, and you can get some information there without even having to leave the office. Typically how it works is you find out a property has gone into probate, you find out who the owner is, who the executor is, who the attorney is, and you mail those people, let them know you're sorry for their loss, and you would be interested in buying the property if they're looking to sell it, and you could make it a lot easier for them. And a lot of these people, they get these properties for free given to them, and it's almost a nuisance for some people, and they just want to be done with the property, and they don't have time to deal with it. So you can get a really great deal there. You're just dealing with a somewhat sensitive situation, or a very sensitive situation, depending on who you contact and what happened there. So number one is probate. Number two is tax-delinquent, and you can find out who's delinquent on their taxes by going to the town hall. You can also get lists. You could go to the town clerk's office and you could see if any liens have been filed against the property for non-payment of taxes. These are great people to mail to. You would find their address, their name, you'd send them a letter. Typically when we send people letters, I like to use yellow letters or just standard handwritten letters or notes or cards, and those seem to be the most effective because they come across as personal. It doesn't look like a mass mailing, and the less you can look like a mass marketing message, the better response you're going to get from the recipient. Number three, absentee owners. These are people that own a property, but the mailing address with the town clerk's office or for the tax records is not the same. So this would mean they own a property and they live somewhere else, or the mail goes somewhere else. So absentee owners, you can look at in-state and out-of-state. These are good people to focus on, because if somebody is out-of-state, absentee owner, it's difficult for them to manage a property, and there's some motivation there sometimes if it's vacant or if it's just a problem property. These are good people to mail to. You could send them yellow letters as well. Postcards work really well. Chris Chico has a program, and we've used those postcards from Chris Chico in the past, and we've gotten a really great response on that. You just need to make sure that you field the phone calls and you reply to people in a timely manner. Number four, Wholesalers, we can find deals from wholesalers. Wholesalers are real estate investors that get properties under contract, and they resell the contract or the property directly to another real estate investor, and they take some money in between, and they just basically charge a little more for the property. So wholesaler gets a property under contract at $50,000, and they might sell it to a real estate investor looking to flip the property for $57,000, or a buy and hold guy. And they'll just take a smaller margin in there, and hopefully they leave some meat on the bone for the guy that's looking to flip the property. Oftentimes wholesalers are sucking a lot of the life out of a deal, so it's not always that easy. It's not always that easy to find good wholesalers. It's an easy game to get into, but it's a really hard thing to pull off really well. Number 5, pre-foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure is when the bank starts the foreclosure process. Somebody stopped paying the mortgage, and you can find these Liz Pendens filed on the town records, and you could identify the properties and mail those people. There's also services that you can pay for to get those lists. These people oftentimes get hammered by a million different people, and it's hard to get through the noise. You could try to give them a call. If you could find their phone number, send them mail, be consistent. Some people knock on doors, and that's always a possibility. Number 6, driving for dollars. This is when you're driving through neighborhoods, or you're driving on your way somewhere and you see a property and it looks abandoned, it looks like unkept, and it has that foreclosure vibe to it. You would take down the address and you would send them a letter, or you can leave a letter at the property, or you can try to call them. You can try to contact the neighbors to see if you could get a phone number to get in contact with the owner to try to strike a deal and buy the property from them. Number 7, we have bandit signs. This is when you put a sign on a tree or a telephone pole that says "We buy houses cash." You have a phone number, and these tend to get really great leads. It's just a lot of work driving around, putting signs on telephone poles and trees all over town. Also, some towns frown upon bandit signs, but there's always a way around it, and it's a pretty simple technique. It's just very difficult to pull off well because it takes a lot of hustle. You have to drive around a lot, and you have to put a lot of signs up, and there's always somebody taking these signs down from the town. But bandit signs produce great results in terms of phone calls and leads. Number 8 would be real estate agents. Now, real estate agents list properties on the market, obviously, but they also have properties that would be called pocket listings, or they know of somebody that's looking to sell a property that hasn't yet put that property on the market. So in that case, if you can have relationships with real estate agents or reach out to real estate agents to find those deals, then you can get off-market properties where they just kind of have this inside track on a deal, or they haven't listed the property yet for whatever reason. And, you know, some real estate agents are a little unscrupulous, I guess would probably be the best word. And they want to save the deal, not list it, hold off a little bit, and be able to get both sides of the commission. And so it's basically going to be an inside deal for them. They're going to get more commission by not offering it out on the MLS. And this is a great place to get off-market deals directly from real estate agents that haven't listed the properties. Number 9, for sale by owners. These are properties you could find on Craigslist, for sale by owner websites. there's a host of different places where for sale by owners might list a property on the internet, even in the newspaper, or sometimes they just put a sign in a front yard and they're looking to sell. These are great places to get good leads. Sometimes these properties need a lot of work and they would work out well for an investor. And then number 10 is word of mouth or referrals. This is probably the most cost-effective way, but it's the hardest to execute well because this strategy takes some time to put into play. It's a matter of people knowing who you are, creating a reputation. The better your reputation and the more people that know you, the better this strategy works. And you can always have a following on YouTube, or everybody in town knows you, or you go to the local RIA and everybody's familiar with you. And this is probably one of the best, most effective ways in terms of a long-term strategy is for people to get to know you so that they give you a call when a deal comes through. And that's about it. That's 10 ways to find off-market deals. There's obviously many other ways, but these are probably the most popular. I'm sure I'm missing something in the mix here. This is what came to mind. I'll try to put together a few others to add on to this list in future videos, but that's all I got for now. Hope that helps. Thanks. Have a great day.